with food prices skyrocketing, there's one animal that is almost free. Well, you guys, it's time to say goodbye to another garden season. 2024 was an interesting year. In some ways, it was so productive. Like, this greenhouse was awesome. We got so many peppers. It's honestly, they're not even totally dead yet. There's some in the back there. I haven't really done a lot of canning this year. I've kind of taken some time off, and I've really been taking the last several months off to just rest. My body just needed to rest. I really burned myself out. If you guys have ever done homesteading on your own, then you will understand. Even if you've done homesteading not on your own, you'll understand how difficult it is and how taxing on your body and your mind it can be. This year started out awesome. All the starts were amazing. We planted so many great things, and all the starts did so well, and we got everything in the ground and everything was fine. We had a little frost, which we expected, and I was able to cover those things and save those things. And then we got another frost, which also was expected. Again, I was able to spray water on those plants before the sun hit them, and it was great. Everything was fine. And then late in the season, we got this really hard frost that was not even on the warning night. And I thought, oh, okay, well, if it didn't get that cold that night, we should be totally fine. And it was too late by the time I realized that it had gotten way colder that night. So we ended up losing all of our squash, tomatoes, corn, pumpkins. We lost all of it. And it was in such a huge area, spread out over such a big area, that it just wasn't feasible for me to be able to save all the things. Now, I did, because I tell you guys this all the time, make sure you don't plant everything out at once. So I had actually already done 3 different plantings of tomatoes, and you would think by the end of June we would have been safe, and we just weren't. So that kind of messed us up a bit. I rallied one more time as I got ready for the Homestead Conference, and that's such a huge event, and planning it and planning to be able to speak and share things, and then also have a vendor booth there. It's just a lot. Right in the middle of major planting season and gardening season. So I ended up rallying and replanting. I planted beans in a lot of the spaces. We lost those things, and some areas I just let them go, and figured, well, I guess I'll see what I can do with this, and maybe we'll plant a fall garden. But by the time I got to that point, by the time summer was here, I was exhausted, and finally realized that I was dealing with something more than just being normal tired. So I've been dealing with that for about 3 or 4 months now, like in a bigger way than I've been dealing with it for a long time. And sometimes you just have to take the small wins, like this greenhouse, which, I mean, isn't really that small of a win. And you just have to really scale back and say, okay, what can we do better? So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on doing things better. Today, I thought I would finally get out in the garden and do a little bit of work. So I'm going to be cleaning out these beds, and I have some things I need to plant just to overwinter. I think I'll do that in here because it's the most protected space. I planted these cucumbers about a month ago. I think it was maybe the beginning of, so maybe 2 months ago. And you can see they just didn't get enough growth on them. They finally have flowers, but we did get a pretty cold frost that killed, you know, basically everything in here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out and just know that if I want a second planting of cucumbers, then it needs to be in July. It can't be in August, and it needs to be in the full sun. So I had a couple more over there. You can see one more on the trellis right there, but that just isn't going to work. One of the ways that I garden is experimenting. I experiment all the time. This is how I have finally found success in growing squash, in growing tomatoes, in growing a fall garden. And the fall garden, honestly, is another one of my big wins. I'll take you guys over there and show you what I mean. There are certain plants that are just thriving in this colder weather. We've hit 21 degrees, 23 degrees, 24 degrees Fahrenheit for the past several weeks now out here. And I know a lot of people in the little bit warmer area, they just now experienced their very first light frost, and some areas still got off scotch-free. So, you know, it's okay. We're just in this cold spot, so you just have to learn to embrace it and keep trying things. So this year I experimented with planting these cucumbers late in the season because none of my other ones took off. In fact, I don't even know what happened to them. I can't even remember where I planted them. But somehow we didn't get cucumbers in the ground, which we love pickles. So that was kind of surprising. Tried to make it better and it just didn't work out, but that's okay. I learned a good lesson. This is why I keep a garden journal. I will not plant them again in August. I will make sure I get those in the ground much sooner. Next day, working really hard on not doing too much work in one day. I'm a little bit gonna throw that out the window because, to be perfectly honest with you, something that I've noticed is that I actually thrive on hard work, and even though it makes me tired, it's really good. It's good to do hard work. It's good to be outside. It's good to be out in the sunshine when it's really, really cold. So I wanted to take you in this kitchen garden real quick. Yesterday I took you in the greenhouse. I did get that finished, by the way. I didn't film any of it, but I did get it done. So I'll take you out and show you what the greenhouse looks like, all cleared out. Well, mostly cleared out because there's some things in there that I want to overwinter. And I'm really excited about that because I learned a tip from a local grower. They have like a tiny little nursery. I love them. I have over-summered a bunch of plants that didn't sell in the spring. They're perennials, mostly berry bushes, partly because I didn't really know where I wanted to put them. The company that I tend to order from, they overpack, and I'm thankful that they do because sometimes the stuff that they ship just is trashed and it's just a wreck. But the reason I still order from them is because their prices are fantastic and you can't beat that. So even if there is a little bit of loss, they overpack for it. Plus, you don't really lose that much money on it because you're not paying for super expensive plants. And out here in this wild, crazy West, in the North, it is so much better to not spend that much money on plants. So, greenhouse, pretty good success. The plants that I over-summered were a success, and I want to keep them that way. And this garden, the kitchen garden, was a success this year. I'm pretty excited about that because the rest of the garden, well, we just won't talk about that right now. So you have to sometimes focus on the positive things that are going on. Focus on being grateful. Focus on being thankful, and take the wins that are there, because I can guarantee everybody can find at least one thing to be thankful for if you are alive on this planet. Might be really hard to find that thing, but you can find it if you try really hard. So this garden right here is our spring garden. It did awesome. And then it was our summer garden, and we harvest from here. I call it the kitchen garden because it's right outside my door. So it's super easy to come over here and maintain something really quick, maintain these beds really quickly. And then it's really easy to just pick things and throw them right on the table into any meals that we're cooking. And it's a good way to encourage the kids to eat more vegetables as well as me to eat more vegetables. I'm going to show you the things that have survived so far down to 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty impressive. These vegetables are your keys to winter gardening, even in a climate like this. Now, they wouldn't survive out in this garden without cover for the whole winter, but they get us pretty late through fall, which, I mean, they get us through part of fall. Let's not be so generous, because it does get really cold and we get snow. So these things were planted in early August, second week of August. We have cilantro, and that is just thriving in here. We have these radishes. Now, the soil is definitely dry. You can see we actually haven't had any rain. If you dig down a little bit, it's moist in there, but maybe not as moist as I'd like. And you can kind of tell because things are a little bit wilty. But this row of radishes, these are California poppies, which have definitely slowed down a lot. But I'm still just leaving a couple in here because they're so pretty. And the bees, the honeybees that we have, really could use this late forage. And I do have some beet greens in here. I have some dill that's popping up. This is self-sown because the dill has finished for the summer. So we'll save seed from this, but it's already started to sprout in here. And then the rest of this bed, you can see these poor kohlrabi are just overrun with aphids. I need to get them out of here. Ugh, so gross. And then I have these carrots, which are pretty slow going. I think they just got really shaded out. And then I've had this kale in here for the whole season. Looks like it's about ready to bolt. So this is pretty done. I'm gonna feed this to the goats. The peppers most definitely frosted out. We only got a couple out of here. I think honestly, this garden is just too shady because we have this tamarack here and we have those tamarack and aspen right there. It's just too shady for peppers, but I thought I would try it anyway. Here's where we ended up with is not really a whole lot of peppers. That's okay. It's a good trial. But that is what makes this garden such a good summer garden, because all of these things thrived through our late August heat. So this is celery, arugula, lettuce, another kind of lettuce. This is Merlot, some mustard greens, some Swiss chard. This is delicious. I love this mix. This is a dragon stir fry mix from Baker Creek. And then I have some red Russian kale right here, which I sowed pretty thickly. And all those things have thrived. And then over here, oh, and I also have some corn salad and tatsoi. If you are looking for winter greens that are going to get you through, tatsoi and corn salad are so hearty. They're two of the best veggies to grow. A lot of times the mustard greens give out. They don't last super long. But the arugula and endive both really thrive in cold weather. And then I do have revived chives growing right here, and I'm really excited about that. The voles love chives and onions in my garden, even though they're supposedly things that repel them. Don't believe that for a second. And then I have this garden right here, which really did not do very well as far as vegetable growth. And the reason it didn't is because I let all these violets grow up in here, and you can see just a carpet of violets that have self-sown in this bed. So I'm actually not very happy about that because it has stopped the growth of veggies. You can see a row of, I think I've got some beets in here and maybe some more kohlrabi, which is way too small. That's not going to make it. I have some few leftover carrots, just the puny ones. We've already pulled out all the big ones. I have some more kale and lettuce. Looks like that's about it. Oh, I have some Swiss chard, some baby Swiss chard. So these things should be, they were sown at the exact same time as that bed over there. You can just see how much they just got choked out by these violets that are growing. So I'm gonna actually have to smother this bed, cover it really thickly with compost, and I may even rake out all of these violets. I have plenty of spaces where violets grow in this garden. We do eat a lot of violets in our salad, and we make jam and jelly and tea and all kinds of things out of them. They're beautiful, but not the most great for eating, you know, like they're beautiful and they're fun, but they're just not super practical. So this went to flower, and the reason I'm leaving it is because that little honeybee right there is still collecting pollen. The rest of this garden kind of got a little crazy. This bed did great. This is my perennial bed that I have some things in here that I really don't want voles to eat. And this did pretty well as far as those go. Nothing else really thrived in this bed. You can tell it's shrunk down quite a lot, so I will be building these beds up a significant amount this fall. And then that bed behind me is ready to be harvested. It got really dry. I think the sprinkler was missing it for a second year in a row, so next year I just need to do better. But those Jerusalem artichoke really thrive, and I'm just kind of letting them take over that bed until I get enough of them established I can start moving them around. They may end up being a sacrifice crop wherever I put them, so I have to be very careful, because wherever I put them, and if the voles find them, then they will eat all the things in that area potentially. So I just have to kind of test it out and try it out. But at least for now, they are safe in the raised bed. And then the fedge, which is a food hedge, if you've never heard that silly word before, is all this behind me. Just did fantastic this year. And I'll tell you what, the 2 secrets to this garden are deep mulch with maple leaves and deep mulch with wood chips, and then watering like crazy to really get this established. So my plan is to copycat this all the way around the whole fence. Sammy, look at that nose. Look at that face. Are you digging? Look, what is that over there? Did you dig? Oh no. We don't dig in the garden. I was too busy talking to catch her red-handed. Here you go, go get your Frisbee. We do need to put some more mulch on this garden, but that's not what we're doing today. Today, I have a couple of things we're gonna get done. They kind of go hand in hand. Thank you, puppy. She's sad because we've been doing school and work and not playing with her, although she did get to go for 2 walks this morning. Okay, I'm in the barnyard and got our wood all stacked up for the year. So excited, well, for the winter. I have something else in the barnyard that we haven't had here since last year, and I am so excited to have these back on the farm. I just realized that even though things are really tough, and even though I'm doing things on my own, my kids are getting bigger and they are so capable. They do so many things and help out in so many ways. But with food prices skyrocketing and just the way things are going, I feel like there is one animal that is almost free, especially if you have other ruminants on your farm, that you can have that can produce hundreds of pounds of meat in a year, especially if you're diligent with it. And really, the work is minimal, provides the garden with food and us with food, the dog with food, and well, my kids have really missed having these on our farm, and I am so excited to have them back. What do you got there, Maggie?
This is my new bunny named Coco.
What kind of bunny is she?
I don't know.
There you go. She's a Rex New Zealand mix.
And she has this paw.
She's one little paw.
And look at the bottom. It also has yellow, and she's super soft.
She's so sweet.
We
also have this mama. This is named Mama Zumi for now. We might change that name. This one belongs to the boys. And she's a more New Zealand, on the New Zealand side of things. And she's got a little bit of Rex in her too. So the job today, we got to clean out the summer bedding from that, or spring bedding from that barn. We'll put that on the garden. The boys are going to help me with that job, and then we're going to get these hutches into that barn so that they're protected.
Gray on her little face right here, and it's super cute. And
she matches your hair color.
And some gray on her bottom feet, and it's super cute. And she's very soft. She is a little bit shaky because she just got here like 20 minutes ago.
Which bunnies are we going to keep?
We're only going to keep the mama bunnies, this one and the other mama bunny that my mom showed you.
Yep. So we're going to get really attached to these sweet mamas.
And we're eating the babies.
That's right. We'll eat the babies.
Which I'm not happy, but I love her. And
go ahead.
If mom wants to hold her, she can.
Thank you, baby. That's sweet. So is it hard growing up on a farm where we have to eat some of our animals?
Yeah. And we already ate our pigs, which they were sure tasty.
They were sure tasty. Yeah, it's a really hard lesson. It is a really hard thing to live, but it's so important to be close to your food. So I teach the kids, they can love on the babies, and eventually they grow up. And then we have new babies and they can love on those. But that is one difficult thing about farming. You just kind of have to tough it out. Like, they give their life, we take good care of them, and then they give their life so that we can live.
And here's
Pull over, baby. So we'll save some for when the boys aren't doing that area.
I need
Okay. Here. You can use that much more. Okay, that's gonna be for later. You can just leave it out here. That'll be great. Ready? Step up. Jump. Okay. Is this gonna fit? You don't actually make these so long, do you?
We can use something in the back corner there, like a board.
Stop filling me. Okay, you're gonna go.
Yeah.